This was the week that Kelowna City Council passed its own bylaw changes to get in line with new provincial legislation on housing. It's legislation that means many applications that might have gone to public hearing and council discussion in the past will just go straight through to staff and ultimately approval. Some members of council feel their powers are being taken away from them unnecessarily. We thought we'd get the mayor's take.
I know the reason behind why the province looked at mandating a lot of the legislation that they put forward. And municipalities, when the province looks at mandating things to municipalities, we as municipalities follow those rules that are brought forward to us in many different aspects. The advancement of looking at densification within neighborhoods and the advancement of with respect to pulling away some of those public hearings, I think were the concerns of council. And there is two specific areas that public hearings were removed from, and that was with developments that is consistent with the OCP, and then also when we're looking at densification, and in some specific areas height, when it is related to residential development only, not in commercial development. So those, because there are council members who have been on council for longer periods of time and have consistently seen those come forward, it's a change. It's something different for them.
It almost seems like some of them say, well, why are we even here then? But they're overstating it there.
But the Municipal Act still allows a lot of ways that we can work within it, affecting bylaws, and bylaws are part of the things that we're changing. We're also dealing with some amendments to the OCP to fit these new changes in. So as mayor and as councillors, we still deal with bylaws, we still deal with budgets. So there are many ways that we can affect change within the rules, but it gives greater understanding and greater consistency with regards to the applications.
And it'll speed them up.
And it will. And we have, as we know, we have a housing affordability issue. We have a housing availability issue. Right. So it's a combination of both that all municipalities across the province are trying to work with. Right. So this is a way to look at expediting that. And in speaking with the Premier a little over a week ago, he understands that, this is something that he's taken off the shoulders of municipalities to try to look at expediting the process and moving forward with development because of sometimes the effects that were happening in municipalities with public hearings.
Okay, I get what you're saying, explaining that, the municipalities act under the dictates of the province. It's always been that way, and if they change the rules, that it's a moot point, really, whether you like it. But what I'm trying to get from you is whether you like it. I mean, do you think they're making the right move?
I understand what they're looking at doing. What they're trying to do is they're trying to move development forward because, as I had said, there is the issue with regards to availability and also, affordability in the housing sector. And there is a lot of positives in what they're mandating and what they're bringing forward. So I do not, at this point in time, I haven't been around as long as some of the other councillors. So they were in a situation where everything came in front of us to a public hearing. As I said, there's only a couple of areas, things that are inconsistent with the OCP, that would come in front of us, but that's basically for land use, and that's the areas, or anything to do with commercial type of development.
If we can agree that the housing situation is a crisis, then sometimes big changes have to be made, I suppose. Do you agree it's a crisis?
We can see that it's a crisis, and there's many things that go into that, why it is a crisis, and that's a much longer discussion. But we recognize even within our community that the number of units that we have for sale, for rent, affordable living, all of those are extremely important to us, and that's why we advanced the number of units that we did last year as a council.
Terrific. Thanks for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching Kelowna Now.